Hello, Elevation Health family. Got a great workshop for you here today. I'm going to share some things with you regarding food sensitivity and the health of your gut. And so found out how we're going to move through our PowerPoint here on this wonderful new technology that I'm using. So I hope you enjoy it. It's kind of like a workshop. It won't be as long. And I'm going to roll through some of these PowerPoint slides with you. And so you can learn what to do and how gut health affects your overall health. We're going to talk about nutrition as a cause of disease and how to remove some of these causes. So if you didn't know, you may have heard me say this in previous workshops, that your gut is actually your second brain. And many of the neurotransmitters, especially serotonin, as far as your moods and things of that nature, your immune system, all depend on the health of your gut. Something called your enteric nervous system it has its own network within the gut, a complex system of about 100 million nerves found in the lining of your gut. So we know that your nerve system controls your gut, and it's very much in part of the balance. And we're going to address this component as well. But on the right, you see an article here from Scientific American recently saying, think twice how the gut's second brain influences mood and well-being. And that was a recent discovery where they showed that 80% of the serotonin that's made comes from the gut. And again, that's the neurotransmitter that gives you your feeling of well-being. So how does your gut affect your brain? We know that disturbances in the gut are linked to multiple sclerosis, some cases of autistic spectrum disorders, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's disease. And the studies show that much of it is related to inflammation or pro-inflammatory states, which is brought about by an imbalance in your gut health, the microbes or the gut flora. And so we're going to talk about where that comes from and what you can do also to improve upon that. Toxins are also a problem which disrupt the normal balance of the gut. And today's chemicals, they just can't be metabolized and broken down by your body. And additionally, they cross the blood-brain barrier and wind up causing problems in the brain, which leads to memory loss, dementia, and even Alzheimer's disease, in addition to other health issues. So toxins are a substantial cause and contributing factor. Leaky gut is something that we've all heard of. And exactly what leaky gut is really just a condition that affects the lining of your intestines. And it creates little gaps in the intestinal walls that allows bacteria and other toxins to pass from the intestines directly into the bloodstream. And then that really starts to create problems and wreak havoc with your health in many different ways. Things in particular, conditions that can tell whether or not you've got leaky gut syndrome, arthritis, allergies, depression, skin conditions like eczema, hives, psoriasis, and chronic fatigue or fibromyalgia. So when we have these conditions diagnosed, we have to consider the possibility of leaky gut syndrome being the cause and start to look at what we can do to get to the cause of these illnesses. Inflammation, significant contributing factor, if not the cause of leaky gut, gut imbalances, and the root cause of so many different illnesses that we combat today with medications and hospitalizations and doctor's visits, anything from COVID to cancer, colds, diabetes, heart disease. Inflammation is at the root of that. So at some point, we have to give attention to this and get the inflammation under control. What causes inflammation? Oh, in general, just poor diet and lifestyle, free radicals, food allergens, stress, not getting enough rest, sugar, processed foods, toxins, artificial sweeteners. Subluxation can cause inflammation. A vitamin deficiency, specific vitamins in particular, high omega-3 6:3 ratio. If we have that from some of the bad oils, particularly polyunsaturated fatty acids and a lot of the seed oils, or just rancid vegetable oils, chronic health conditions, being overweight, sedentary lifestyle, and smoking, all can cause inflammation. Many of us have many more than one of these factors. So at some point, we talk about this at the workshops, and it's just, you got to check the box on many of these and really start taking them down one by one. Artificial sweeteners are not an alternative to sugar. They're not a good alternative at all. And they have found to be very, very disruptive to normal gut bacteria. And what that does is it leads directly to leaky gut syndrome. It's a direct cause and contributing factor for depression, for a weakened immune system, and it creates toxicity for the bacteria, the good bacteria that are actually in the digestive system. Research shows that when they expose the gut to only 1 milligram per milliliter of artificial sweeteners, the bacteria found in the digestive system became toxic. Let's talk about nutrients in the gut. Vitamin D helps your body absorb calcium and plays an important role in how your nerves, muscles, and immune system function. And healthy levels of vitamin D, additionally, are very much associated with a reduced risk for not only colon cancer, which is appropriate for our discussion today, but also breast, prostate, ovarian cancer. I'm aware of studies that show that, when your vitamin D levels are 70 and over, you can prevent at least 50% of these cancers that I just referenced, in addition to preventing and staving off COVID, reducing your annual number of colds to nearly zero. Epidemiologists have done many, many studies on the importance of vitamin D in the immune system. Much of it has its root in the gut health. Magnesium deficiency is also an important factor when we're talking about gut health, because the bacteria in your gut pulls the magnesium from other cells, and it leaves those cells deficient in magnesium, and it perpetuates a deficiency in and of itself. So it's really important to supplement with magnesium. So the basic nutrients that you need for good gut health are B vitamins, vitamin C, selenium, vitamin D, as we just discussed, zinc, and also magnesium, as we just went over. And so let's go over like the three main steps of what we can do to be proactive with this and actually make application to what we're discussing. Number one is get adjusted. Why? What controls function and healing, not just with your gut, but with every organ? It's your nervous system. And the brain controls your stomach, your intestines, the gut, heart, lungs, liver, spleen. It controls it through the nerves. When the bones in your spine shift out of normal alignment, if it interferes with those nerves and interferes with the communication leading out to important organs and tissues, such as your gut, it can never function and heal and make new healthy cells and maintain an ideal healthy environment without proper nerve supply. And so the one thing that can shut that down or interfere with that is called subluxation. The process of adjusting your spine and correcting your spine is to find and eliminate and then maintain that correction. Find and remove the interference, get the bone off the nerve, hold it there long enough, keep that nerve channel open long enough so that your body can maintain a healing an environment, and your body can actually heal. Now in the beginning, you get adjusted repetitiously. There has to be repetition there. It's kind of like going to the gym, so each session can build on the next, and you can actually hold the adjustment, hold the nerve channel open. That's really, really important. But as time goes on, you come in less and less frequently because your body's used to maintaining normal alignment. If your spine's been out of alignment for years or decades, it takes time to get that corrected and then, of course, maintain that correction. But that's the most important thing. You could eat good, you could take supplements, you could do all these things, but if you've got nerve interference, if you have subluxation, your body will never be as healthy as it possibly can. To release your God-given full health potential, you must have proper nerve supply. And so the mid-back is one section that needs to be looked at carefully, and then the top bone in the neck. The top bone of the neck protects the brainstem, and the brainstem has intimate neurological communication with what affects the gut. And so step number one is the most important part. Make sure you get those nerve channels clear and get your power turned on. Step number two is address inflammatory foods and possible tests that may be necessary. The best recommendation is the most specific, and that's get a food allergy test, and that will show you what foods that you have a sensitivity to with antibodies. And next, after that, a C-reactive protein test, which will tell you your inflammation markers, tell you how much inflammation that you have in your guts and in your system in general, and also a vitamin D test. And depending on where these levels come out, you can get very specific as far as what treatment protocols will contain and eliminate the problem and get you on your fastest track to healing. If that's not possible, at a minimum, in general, just eliminate wheat, dairy, sugar, fried foods, processed foods, and rancid fats. I think it's safe for everyone to switch to an anti-inflammatory diet. An anti-inflammatory style diet would be something like a Mediterranean diet, and just, again, keeping it as general as possible. What you're looking at on the screen now is an example of a food-specific antibody assessment report. So when we do food sensitivity testing, you can see the antibodies that your body actually has to particular foods. And these lists are exhaustive in terms of the foods that your body creates antibodies to and has an allergic reaction to. And unfortunately, what I found through my own test is that it's a lot of the foods that we have too much of, that we eat too much and we enjoy too much too often. So if you look at this one on the left, you'll see that under dairy, you see the categories 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Very simply, the foods that go beyond 2, when you look into the 3 or the 4 category, these are foods that you're having an extreme allergic reaction to. 1 and 2, you're definitely having antibody reactions to, but 3s and 4s need to be eliminated. 1s and 2s just need to be reduced and rotated. But just to give you an idea of, what an individual may have in their diet, like cheese, cow milk, if you're having whey protein or goat milk, and you've got sinuses, allergies, fatigue, you've got issues that you just think you can't seem to correct, this may be one of these factors that needs to be eliminated. On the other side, you see meat and poultry, and this individual would have an antibody response to beef, chicken egg, egg whites, egg yolks. So this would be an indication of it being appropriate to begin to reduce some of these foods and have some kind of rotation where you only have it once a week or a couple of times a week until you don't have that response anymore. And that would be indicated by a test later on after you've given your body time to heal and reduce those antibodies. Here's another part of the test where it shows you on the left, nuts and legumes, beans. So this person has an allergic reaction to chickpeas, green peas, especially lentils. And when there's an allergic reaction, one of the most common symptoms that you find is fatigue, your eyelids get heavy. And this is like almost immediately after you eat. There's a bloating, there's expansion of your stomach, your face feels full. You just kind of feel full and tired, and you just don't feel energized. And a food sensitivity test can reveal some of these foods that you have that actual reaction to. So it's pretty telling when you look through these list of foods and you enjoy almost all of those. And most of the time, it's those foods that you have the highest allergic reaction to. Your body's just gotten so used to eating that. On this side, you can see under vegetables, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cauliflower. Look at that. All the cruciferous vegetables, so important for detoxification, and your body has an allergic response to it. Now, in this case, it would just say, all right, you just need to reduce it. Don't have it every day. I found out with this person, they were having it every day. Brussels sprouts, broccoli, cauliflower, almost every day of the week with dinner, and there was very little variety. So this would be a great indication of, okay, now we have to mix some other vegetables in there, lower on the, like in the 0 scale, maybe some asparagus or green beans or onions and garlic, eggplant, cucumber. When there's no antibodies in there, put more of those foods in and take more of the cruciferous veggies out. So maybe you would have those just once a week until you have a better response on the test. And you feel the difference. When you start rotating those foods out, you do feel the difference, black and white. So you need the food sensitivity test to actually see that, as it is very personal and particular to each individual's blood profile. It's basically a pinprick from your finger. We get a blood sample, put it on a card, gets sent out to the lab, and then the lab produces, it's a multi-page report, about 10 pages or so, with all the foods, proteins, vegetables, grains, fruits, all types of different allergens that we need to be concerned with. The third step is just basic supplementation. So here's some recommendations. Many of you already take the Edison pack. Most adults that we begin under chiropractic restorative care, rehabilitative care, we use this supplement because it targets the healing and speeds up the healing for the soft tissue, the ligaments, bones, discs, tendons, the nerves. It really helps us to speed up the healing and just get a better clinical outcome in the beginning of care when we're trying to get things stabilized. But beyond that, it has a multivitamin spectrum, which also helps us to focus on rebuilding gut flora as well, because it has vitamin D, magnesium, vitamin B, selenium, zinc, and vitamin C as well. All this can be found in the Edison pack. There's this Edison pack that's specific for men's health, and there's also one specific for women's health. So we need that. We need probiotics also to help rebuild the normal healthy flora. You need fiber, obviously, from vegetables and fruits. And also you need detoxification. You need some kind of component there to help to contain and eliminate the toxic burden on the gut and the brain as well. So here are some supplements that you can use, again, just generally speaking. And this is some of the which we use as application once we get the test results back and we know somebody's highly allergic to either foods, or maybe there's a high level of C-reactive protein, the inflammatory markers in their testing, or vitamin D. So some of these supplements we use in general, but it's best used as application as indicated from a specific test that we do, which shows that it's necessary. Ultraplex curcumin is a nutrient that we use to reduce inflammation in general, but is specifically effective in reducing inflammation in the gut. So it's great for digestive issues, heartburn, stomach ulcers. I tell you what, if you're arthritic, if you have shoulder pain, knee pain, hip pains, if you just arthritic in general, this is a natural anti-inflammatory, and it's got one of the highest rates of effectiveness in terms of reducing inflammation and preventing cancer. Ultraplex EPA, also significant effect in terms of inflammation. So these two are the two most important supplements that an individual could use to address inflammation, in addition to an anti-inflammatory diet. It's a great place to start. Probiotics is, again, what we use to repopulate the normal flora. Now, if you've taken antibiotics anytime recently, this is an absolute must. But if you're suspecting leaky gut, if you have food sensitivity issues, if there's inflammation, high levels of that, if there are vitamin deficiencies, the probiotics help to bring it all together. There's in your metabolic profile in your gut, there's 107 of these particular chemicals that bacteria make, called metabolites, and some are toxic. The probiotic is actually able to change the bacterial makeup so that it can use it to reduce or eliminate the toxins and the effects that the toxins have. So with the probiotics, as I was saying, the serotonin production is part of this It reduces your risk of colds, flus, and cancers. The probiotics is a big part of maintaining a healthy immune system. And it also promotes healthy digestion and your body's ability to absorb the nutrients. It's one thing to take supplements, which is a really good idea. But if you can't absorb the supplements, it, like I always say, it becomes expensive urine. So things to consider, whether it be general or specific application after you've had the specific testing. So, I've gone through some really important things as we've talked about gut health. And that's what I wanted to cover today, where, basically we go through an hour and 15 minutes worth of content, and there's audience participation. So this is a little bit different what I did today. What I wanted to do is create a little bit of variety. I guess it's kind of more like an infomercial, if you will. And to be honest with you, I'm just having some fun with my new technology here. So I hope it was helpful for you. Hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, you can ask Deborah at the front desk about the food sensitivity testing or the vitamin D testing, CRP testing. The C-reactive protein measures your inflammation levels, and the vitamin D are the same test. It's a finger prick blood test that we have a kit and we send to a lab, and we get those levels back. If your vitamin D is too low, we show you the appropriate supplements and dosages to bring it up to the ideal area. If your C-reactive protein is too high, we show you the appropriate supplements and dosage to bring it down. And then the same thing with the food sensitivity test. It's a very, very simple test. And we have the kits for these. We can show you how they work, and you can learn what you can do to take your health to a whole nother level when you get very, very specific with these testings. You eliminate the guesswork with the testing. That's why it's so valuable. And you get right to the cause, you address the cause, and then later on you get retested, and you know that you have evidence and proof that you not only feel better, but you actually are healthier. So if you need any help with that, speak to Deborah up front. You can call the office at 954-472-6002, or there should be a link below where you can actually click on and coordinate an appointment to be set up for a vitamin D CRP test or a food sensitivity test, and we can help you from there. Thank you so much for joining me today. I love and appreciate you. God bless.